Welcome to part 5 of Let's Play Beneath Nightmare Castle by Peter Darvill-Evans. At the end of the last part, I was about to read paragraph 201. Here we go. You bump into tables and trip over unidentifiable bloody fragments, some of which clutch at you as you pass, but you can move faster than Zakaz's mountainous body of wriggling limbs. You will have to fight, however, unless you have both the Talisman of Loth and a green glass globe. If you have both of these items and want to try to use them, turn to 18. If not, you must fight Zakaz as best you can. Turn to 167. Now, for some reason, I didn't type down that I picked up the green glass globe before I started this video, even though I did get it, because according to my notes, I picked it up after I fought the giant spiders. Just before I killed the unknown assailant, which turned out to be an ogre. For some reason I didn't type it down, so I typed it down just before the start of this video, so it's here. But regardless, I did get the green globe, and I do have the Talisman of Loth, and so therefore I'm going to turn to 18. Okay. You are hoping that the intense light of the talisman will cause the green globe to glow and heat up so rapidly that it inflicts serious damage on Zakaz. Yeah, I vaguely remember now. Yeah, I picked up the globe and then I put it in my backpack rather than use it. And then afterwards, the next paragraph stated that the heat started to die down after putting it in my backpack. So I definitely picked it up. I just neglected to type it down on the adventure sheet for some reason because I'm very, very stupid. Oh well. Anyway, let's start this again. You are hoping that the intense light of the talisman will cause the green globe to glow and heat up so rapidly that it inflicts serious damage on Zakaz. Your first task is to lodge the globe somewhere in the nest of wriggling limbs. You pull it from your backpack and carefully toss it towards the writhing mountain. Even as it flies across the room, the globe seems to absorb light from the talisman's dazzling ray and becomes too bright to look at. Roll 2 dice. If the total is more than your current skill, excluding bonuses for special weapons, turn to 313. Otherwise, turn to 134. Okay. Our skill is 12. So we need to roll 2 dice. So if the total is more than your current skill, turn to 313, otherwise turn to 134. Right, so we need this to be, well, just need to roll the dice really, don't we? 7, okay, so that's less than our current skill, which is good. Let's remove any buzzing just in case. It was not more than my current skill, so I'm going to turn to 134. You have thrown well. The globe thuds into Zakaz near the top of the motley pyramid of flesh and disappears among a tangle of thrashing limbs. Almost immediately it explodes. An ear-numbing crash signals the end of Zakaz. Turn to 271. Among the blood-soaked remains, you find Zakaz's head. At close quarters, it is clear that even this part of the creature is a mongrel creation, welded together from parts of several men and women and at least 2 animals. It is still alive and hurls slurred insults at you until you cleave it in 2. Inside the monstrous cranium, you find a jumble of several brains and a tiny metal box. You pull out the box and keep it in your backpack. You pace slowly and unsteadily back to the magical mirror, which you find has a single lever set into the frame. You pull it, watch the colours swirl across the mirror's surface, and then step through. 10 to 400. Here we are. You step out into the chamber of the sorceress Senyekaz. This room and the others in the suite are deserted, and you take the opportunity to rest, eat, and recover your strength. Then you make your way through the corridors of the dungeons and cellars to the main floor of the keep, where you find Baron Tholder, no longer under an enchantment. energetically ejecting the demoralized southern soldiers from his castle. Between tears and laughter, he overwhelms you with praise and thanks, and insists on escorting you to the temple of Oiden so that the old priest Hugh can share in the good news. When you have recounted your story, Hugh merely smiles. He asks for the small metal box, which he says contains the immortal parts of Zakaz. You hand it over with alacrity, and Hugh assures the Margrave that this time Zakaz will be imprisoned in a place from which he will never escape. We said that about Zagor, didn't we? And he came back several times, or whatever. Um, um, Whether or not you found it during the course of your adventure, Hugh tells you that the Trident of Skarlos is now yours by right. Yeah, someone left me a comment stating that the blue spear is the Trident of Skarlos, but that didn't. Well, nothing I read sort of implied that, but I'm guessing that's probably true. Well, no, not when. No, what I mean is, I wouldn't be surprised if that were true. But yeah, the book didn't imply that the blue spearhead was the Trident of Skarlos, because a trident isn't a spear. It's sort of like a three-pronged thing, like a pitchfork or something. Whereas a spear, I've always assumed only has one point. But I admit I'm not an expert on spears or tridents, so I guess I'll just have to blame my ignorance, or rather blame that on my ignorance, rather than the book, I suppose. Anyway, Hugh tells you that the Trident of Skarlos is now yours by right, and at a public celebration attended by all the townsfolk of Neuburg, Baron Tholder announces to terrific cheers that he appoints you to be his heir in all things. On his death, you will inherit the keep, the freehold of the town, most of the surrounding farmland, forests, and hunting estates in the hills to the east, and the title of Margrave. At last you have your chance to enjoy the comforts of town living. But of course, after only a few days of banquets and soft beds, you find yourself getting bored. It's time to set off on another adventure. Yes, okay, brilliant. That's the end of that. Yeah, so a little bit stupid of me not to note down that I had the green globe, because I remember getting that, and also, yeah, the blue spear apparently was the Trident of Skarlos, even though I've already explained that. I just don't get that. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, if you didn't have the Green Globe and the Talisman of Loth, you'd have to fight Zakaz, who has skill 9 and stamina 10. If you got lucky or something. If you were unlucky, he would have skill 14 and stamina 32. Yes, that's that. Anyway, next book, if I do a book next, which is almost certainly, I will be doing Crypt of the Sorcerer. So that's the next adventure to which the end of this book sort of alluded. It certainly can't be Star Strider, because that is futuristic. So yeah, Crypt of the Sorcerer next probably, and then maybe Star Strider after that. But it's another futuristic one, and you know how much I hate those ones. Hate's a strong word. Just sort of not like. There we go. Then Phantoms of Fear, Midnight Rogue, Chasms of Malice, Battle Blade Warrior, Slaves of the Abyss, Skylord. What does that say? I don't know, I can't read that. Daggers of Darkness, Armies of Death. That's not the film Army of Death or whatever. No, it's Army of Darkness, isn't it? Port of Evil of Dawn of Dunvold of the Vampire, Fangs of Fury, Dead of Night. That's a good book, Dead of Night, and Master of Chaos. Okay, brilliant. Anyway, so next book will be what does that say? Oh, Stealer of Souls. That's what it says. Right. Anyway, next book will be Crypt of the Sorcerer. That sounds fun. Another medieval fantasy one. Anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye.